What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. We got a lot to cover actually, because I didn't do any videos last week. So going to go over some trades that we took last week, some trades that we missed, some trades that we lost. Um, yeah, so please watch until the end so you can find something useful in this video. So let's get right into it. So we're going to start with last week, which was the Monday, the 29th. But as you know, we are doing like the 5-0 strategy, which we are currently forward testing, and it's doing really, really well, to be honest, like extremely well, which is why I'm considering to make it a official strategy that we could add to our arsenal. So this here is the 29th, which was last Monday. Today is October 6th. So we look with the 5-0, it's a really simple strategy. It's not really a lot of technical analysis involved with it. We're looking at the first 5-minute candle of the open, which is 6 p.m. Eastern. This is the only time that this strategy is going to be valid or invalid. Well, actually, I don't think it's ever invalid, but we're just waiting on that first 5-minute candle close. So whenever that happens, that's the direction that we're looking to trade. Pretty simple. So if we look here, this is the first 5-minute candle close. You can see this candle closed at 6:05 p.m. Eastern. So it would have been that Sunday evening going into Monday. So every day at 6 p.m. when the market reopens, that's the time that you want to look for this strategy. So if we look here, we have this candle that closed bullish. It's really simple. We put our stop loss at the wick below. Our entry point is at the body candle close, and then that will determine our TPs for it. So you can see here that this one lost the 155 initially. And the way the strategy works is you could take one re-entry. And so we did, and it came and picked us back up here after the 155 loss. And then it went on to hit TP1 and TP2 and also TP3, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Nope, TP3 was right here at this unmitigated level. So it got pretty close to TP3, but you would have made your money back plus some profit. And that's that. So typically how I trade this is once it gets to TP2, I'll take some of my position size off. At least in this case, it probably would have put me at break even on the trade. And then I would have had, runners, because this is a overnight type strategy, meaning that we're trying to stay in this trade as long as possible. So once it reached the TP2, I would have moved to break even plus one, and I would have also taken some position size off. Like if I was doing, a few contracts, I would have taken majority off here and just let the additional run. So that was that one. And then if we go over to the 30th, which would have been that Monday evening going into Tuesday. So same thing. This one, the 6:05 candle closed bullish. The first trade would have lost 535, and the re-entry would have been during New York session, which was I think around 10. Yeah, so 10. So once it hit that re-entry, it then proceeded to go to, I want to say TP 5, 6, 7 ish right there for about $3,000. So first trade would have lost about 535. You would have made it back plus about 5x your position if you held all the way to the top. So yeah, that one was pretty good. Then on to the next day, as you can see, it was again very successful. This one, let me zoom in here. So this one, you can see the candle closed bullish at 6:05. We have our stop loss right here at the wick. We have our entry right here at the body close, the candle close. not at the wick. Very important to remember that. That way you're, you can get those extra ticks as profit instead of added risk. So you can see it got pretty close to the stop loss, and then we had a strong bullish momentum come in, and this one proceeded to go to TP 13. Let's say, yep, TP 13 for about 3,300 bucks. And then on this same day, so that was the overnight. You want to hold this trade until around 6 a.m. Eastern. That's usually when market likes to sort of change the direction. You can see here at 6 a.m. it was starting to pull back, but it did continue. So either 6 a.m. if you see this, if you're awake anyway. If you're not awake, move it to break even, of course, so that way there's no risk. But if you are awake at 6 a.m. and you see that, okay, it is continuing in that same direction, you could leave it on your, you could leave your trade on until New York Open. You want to be out of this 5-0 strategy by New York Open, because a lot of times New York likes to take the money back that London is making. So as you can see, that's exactly what New York did. The open was right here. You can see it went straight down, and this was the liquidity graph from the overnight session. You can see it's right below this stop loss over here, 4 to 50, and then it continued back up. So that's just something to keep in mind whenever you are taking this strategy. But on this particular day, we caught this 50. Also, for the morning on the second, if I go over here to the 1 minute chart, we caught it on the way down also. Just get over here. That's the first. Here is the second, right here. So this is the daily strat. So with the daily strat, the first thing you want to do whenever you're trying to trade the daily strategy is mark out your daily levels. So in order to do that, you will go to the daily time frame and you will look at the previous daily candle. So whatever day you are looking on, it's going to be that previous day. You're going to have 4 lines. It's going to be the open, high, low, close of that previous day candle. So it's typically going to be 4 lines unless there's no wick. So you can see on this example that we have the low, the high, the close, and the open, right? So you're going to have 2 lines for the body, 2 lines for the wicks. You want these numbers to be exact. So I don't know what platform you guys are using, but if you are using NinjaTrader, you can hit the little scroll button, just press it, and it'll pull up this little window. It tells you the exact numbers. Now on Trading View, if you just hover over the candle, it will show up here on the top left. Same with Volumetrica, and you can see it on whatever platform you're using. So you're going to have those 4 lines on there, and that is going to be the target for the daily strat. So whichever direction you're looking at going, in this case, we were looking at sales because the daily levels at the time of this trade were below down here. And we're looking first for the timing. So the timing of this, you have to start looking for structure starting at 9:27 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. So it cannot be before that because you more than likely will get faked out if you try to take this setup prior to 9:27. I don't know why it's 9:27, but that's just how it has been with my back testing and forward testing and all of that. So we can see here that structure was made right here on this candle at 9:29 a.m. We have the gap, the open was right here at 9:30. It created a small gap, and if you did not know how to use this strategy, you more than likely missed this trade, because if you look, it literally hit exactly that gap, which is right here. Let me draw it out for you. Basically hit the gap and instantly went down to TP2, I believe, like within a split second. So the, I use limit orders for this, so I already had my limit order as soon as this candle closed, which was down here because it's a bearish candle. So it closed, so it gave me just enough time to put my trade on, and then it instantly just went up, tapped the sand, instantly went to almost TP3, you can see here. But the ultimate target, you want to hold it until it hits the daily level, which you got from that previous day, the open, high, low, close of that candle. So this one maxed out at about TP12. So we were able to, capture 2,600 on that one. We were able to catch it up. We caught this whole move up basically, and majority of the move down. I think it continued down a little bit more. Yeah, just to take out that previous session that we discussed earlier. Took that out and then kind of just played around. Nice bounce up off of our reversal zone as well. So next day with the 5-0, we're back on the 5-minute chart now. And you can see that first trade loss 155, and then the re-entry happened a few minutes after, and then it proceeded to go on to TP. What is that? TP 12. Let's see what it maxed out at. So I think it was around TP 12. TP almost TP 12, right? So about yeah, 1,800, 1,700 bucks there. So we were able to capture that. Oh, it did hit TP 12 right over here around 6:15. And you remember earlier I told you you want to actually check this trade at 6 a.m. As you can see here, it was 6 a.m. and the price did or the trend did actually reverse. So that's a key time whenever you're trading NQ. So please be sure to keep that written down somewhere or whatever the case is. So you can see at 6 a.m. it reversed and it went all the way down, and then we had the New York Open over here. So I don't think we had a trade. What day was that? The third. Yeah, that day I was actually flying, but we did have a trade on the third. It was another daily strat. Let's take a look at it right here. That's the fifth. The third. Here we go. So this is what it looked like at that time. So at the time, those daily levels were, I want to say down here somewhere, because this is a daily level for today, so it's not relevant right now. But we have a nice little setup. If we start looking at 927, we would have been looking for bearish structure. So we didn't get the bearish structure until over here at 9:57. So about 27 minutes after the open, we got that, and this same candle created this gap right here. So you can see that same candle created the gap. So we would have been just waiting for price to come back in and tap into that gap, and then been looking to take it down. So it would have been right here. We just extend this over. That's the same gap from over here. So it would have tapped you in the trade here. Your setup would have been looking like this. You want to look at the previous swing high as the stop loss. Your entry is the bottom of the gap because we were looking for sales. And that would have been the setup there. I think the TP was right around here at this reversal zone down here. So you would have made at least about 1,500 bucks on this trade if you were just a little bit patient and waiting for your setup. So I'll have more videos explaining, as always, the recaps and why we took the trades I know somebody asked about how I determine bias. Most of the time, what I do, if you've seen my previous videos, is I get on a minute time frame or 5 minute, whichever you prefer, and I will mark out from 8 p.m. until midnight. So that will determine Asia's high and low. So you can see here's the high and here's the low in between that 8 p.m. and 12 a.m. This is Eastern Standard Time. And then you want to see what did London do between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. So London, you can see we have 2 a.m. here and 5 a.m. here. So you can see that London actually took out the highs. So we would have been looking for buys on this time, based on what London did, but because there was all-time highs right there and the daily levels were all below at this time, that's the reason why we were looking for a sell setup. But any other time, if we are not at all-time highs, then we would just sort of go with whatever the bias is. But just be sure to keep in mind that whenever if you decide to use this, don't be married to the bias. If something happens like a world event or some major news comes out and it clearly shows you that this is invalid, then go with whatever the trend is doing at that time. So, yep, just be sure to keep that in mind. But hope you found something that you could take away from this video. There will be more. I'm gonna try to be more active in this, post more about the strategies themselves. And yeah, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks.